Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. So this week I think I'm going to put together odds and ends video for you guys and give you a little bit of a shop update on what we're doing out here at the shop, because that seems to be where I have been spending most of my time the last couple of weeks, is working on getting the shop a little bit farther along. It's a slow process. It's pretty much just me out here working when I'm out here, and a lot of it is hour or two when I get home from work in the evening. Maybe a little bit of time on the weekends. My weekends have continued to be very busy, as they usually are in springtime. There just seems to be a lot of stuff going on with family and what have you. So like I said, it's been kind of slow going, but we have made some progress and there are some things to note. So we'll kind of give you the rundown of what's been going on out here the last few weeks. First off, a little bit about the electrical. We've kind of already talked a lot about this, and as you see, I've got some lights on in here. I'm still hooked up to temporary power. Basically, I've got my panel plugged into an extension cord running from the house and waiting to get the power company here to turn things on. And part of that has been my fault because I haven't called them, because I've been so busy. I haven't been home, and I needed to be home to meet with them. This past week, I actually had time to call them on Monday. They came out actually almost within an hour after I called them. They were out here and mapped everything out, got everything planned. They had to wait 3 days to do have the locate people come out and locate anything that's in the path, which actually there isn't anything, I know that, but they still are required to do that. And then after that's done, they said it'd be another day or two and they get it out here and hooked it up. So keeping my fingers crossed. I'm actually shooting this on a Thursday. I'm hoping that maybe they'll get out here on Friday and get it done, but it'll probably be Monday, is what they told me. So hopefully by the time we do another video for you guys with the shop update, we'll have all the power hooked up and we'll be at full power in here, and I can start running a little bit more in here and not be worrying about tripping breakers and so forth. Next big thing we've done, if you look at my floors, they're nice and shiny. And the reason for that is we did put a sealer down on the floor, or I put a sealer down on the floor. And did that actually at the recommendation of several of you guys out there who said, you need to do this. And there's a lot of people say, put down the epoxy, put down the paint. The epoxy was just a little bit out of my price range for the amount of square footage I had to go with. But I do feel like the sealer was a good way to go. And what that's going to do for me is, number one, it's going to protect, from oil spills, things like that, from soaking in the concrete and staining it permanently. So it'll help with cleanup and what have you. And, it's also going to be just good from the standpoint of helping to prevent dust in here. With an unsealed slab, every time you sweep it, you actually are sweeping up dust coming off of the concrete. With it sealed like this, I should get a lot less dust in here, and it'll be easier to clean up. So I'm excited about that. The floor deal turned into somewhat of an ordeal. It just took some time. So since I already had a lot of equipment in here, what I did was I basically moved everything off the front half, put it in the back half of the shop, cleaned the floor, which was a bit of a challenge. I had some tire marks in here from where I had pulled a tractor in when I was unloading some of the machinery, and boy, that was a mistake. I had a very difficult time getting that rubber marks off of the slab. And if you look real close, you might still be able to see some, maybe not in video, but if you were to come and look, there's still some tire tracks in here. I used all kinds of cleaners, degreasers, and everything that was recommended. Nothing would work. We got out a pressure washer. It helped, but it really didn't remove them. I finally talked to a buddy of mine that works at local concrete place, and he recommended getting a floor buffer, like they buff a floor with, and they said they actually have like a wire wheel that you can get on the bottom of that. So I went and rented the floor buffer and the wire wheel, and it was basically sanding off. Not really sanding, but with that wire brush, it was brushing off those tire marks. And it took a good bit of work, but we got most of the tire marks up, at least got to where it was, I was okay with it. It was as good as I could go, and got the one half sealed, and then basically let that sit for about a week. I was actually on the road, during that time period, so we let it sit. Came in the next weekend and moved everything from this side of the shop to or from the back of the shop to the front of the shop, I guess, yeah. And did the same process back there. Didn't have to do the tire marks. Had already gotten up the few that were on that. Most of them were on this half. So we got this side cleaned up, and last weekend got that sprayed out, let it sit for a couple of days and cure, and finally got the floor done. That was about a 2-week process for me anyway, just with the amount of time I had to put into it and so forth. So the next thing you'll notice is we got some walls going up in here, and I've mentioned before that I'm wanting to divide the shop into 2 halves. So I'll have the front half here be my machine shop, my metalworking area. The back side of the shop is going to be devoted to woodworking, and I wanted to have a barrier between the 2 areas to kind of help keep sawdust out mainly, and keep oil and grease from getting on the other side. So we are going to divide it out half here. And again, evenings and so forth, me by myself, I've been framing these up just a little bit at a time. That one's just going to be a wall over there. I've still got to finish closing in the top part. This side over here, this is actually going to become a bathroom. So we got the back wall and the wall here. I've still got another wall to go here with the door. So when we did the concrete slab, my guys doing the concrete work, they said, well, let's just go ahead and put the pipes and stuff in here for a bathroom for down the road. So there's water and sewage lines coming out of the shop. There's a place for a toilet and actually a place for a shower in the concrete. So the bathroom will come eventually, but this is probably something a little bit more long term. I've just got so many things to do and a limited amount of cash right now to do it, so it's just going to be by priority. But I am going to go ahead and frame up a room there. This area is just going to have an 8-foot ceiling, and that'll give me an area on top for some storage, so that I can stack some boxes or whatever up there just to get them out of the way. So that's what's going on next, is getting this framing done, and I'm making good progress on it, but it's just going to take some more time. I'll probably work on that some more this weekend. That's pretty much what I've got accomplished on the shop again over the last couple of weeks and where we're at now. Once I get my framing in here done, man, I got such a list of things to do. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do next, but I do know that in the next week or two, I've got to get another piece of machinery moved in here that I have. I just need to go get it, and I'll be sharing more about that later. But it's going to be a job to move this other machine I've got coming, so I'm not looking forward to that, but I want to go ahead and get it in here. I'm trying to resist still getting too much in here, moving too much in here until I get the shop a little bit farther along. Insulation and ceiling. I've talked about that before. That is a priority for me, but it's, again, quite honestly, because of the financial situation, and it's going to probably take me a couple of months to save up some cash to get that done. So hopefully we can get that insulated soon. I really want to get the insulation put up top before I get too much stuff in here, because it's going to be such a pain to have to work around a lot of machinery when those guys come in here to spray in the insulation. And then coming back also, and I'm wanting to put some type of ceiling up on that to cover the insulation. And the more machinery that's in here, the more moving around it's going to be required. And so I'm resisting hard bringing in much more until we get that far along. So with that said about me not wanting to bring a lot more stuff in here, I do seem to keep on acquiring some new things. So 2 new things that I have come up with recently for the shop is a desk, number 1. This desk was actually at the museum. They were cleaning out a building, and they were going to get rid of it and asked me if I wanted it. They knew I was building a shop. So I said, yeah, I'll take it. It's nothing fancy. It's an old steel desk, but everything works. It's kind of cool. It's got this little top here that pops up, and this was back in the days. You young guys probably may not know what this was for. This was for a typewriter. You could mount a typewriter in here and close the desk, and the typewriter would just go down up into the desk, and then when you got ready to type again, you could just open that up and the typewriter would pop right out. You would bolt it down to that little platform in there. Typewriters are obsolete now, but still they'll function as a desk for the shop. The other thing that I was really kind of excited about is this rack here that holds 50 taper tooling for my horizontal milling machine. And this was actually something that I had seen probably 6 or 7 years ago in a little, I don't know if you call it a junk store or consignment store. They just bring in surplus stuff. It was up in North Alabama, and a couple of weeks ago I was up in North Alabama on a business trip, and I stopped in to see if they still had these things. And they actually had 4 or 5 of them. I purchased one. I probably should have purchased 2. And I may pick up another one next time I'm up there. But this was $75, and it's all made for, it's got holes in here where you can take your 50 taper tooling, and it just fits right in the rack. And I got out all my 50 taper tooling. I had a lot more than I thought I did. I'm really kind of surprised at how much I have here. In fact, there's only, I think, there's only 8 empty slots on here. I think I got one little slot here, but I've actually got something to go in there. It's just not in there right now. So that kind of surprised me. There's a little bit of 40 taper stuff in there as well. And it fit just right, but it's there right now. But anyway, I was pretty excited about that. And like I said, I may, next time I'm up in that area, go ahead and pick up another one of those. It's just some old surplus stuff that, but it suits my needs just right. And gets everything nice and organized and easy for to go grab something off of. So I really like that. Well, that'll be about a wrap for this episode, guys. Man, I'm really having to resist the urge to get in here and start working on the lathe and surface grinder and getting these things where they're ready to plug and play. I'm probably going to start on the lathe first and go through it, clean it up, maybe go ahead and strip her down, repaint it, check everything out before I put it back in service. And I don't know if I may do the same thing on this surface grinder just to make sure everything's in good shape and get them going. And I really, man, I'm itching to do it. I'm just itching to do it. But I got so much other stuff I need to get done in the shop. Like I said, I'm really resisting the urge. Got a couple of projects that I need to start working on at the museum. So we got a couple of new things there. We'll include some machine shop work. I know some of you guys are probably tired of seeing me work on the shop and want to see me get back into the shop doing some machining work. So if all goes well this Saturday, I will start on a machining job out there that I think some of you guys will enjoy. And we'll try to keep bringing stuff to you guys. The shop project is coming along great. It's just slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. And this is going to be a long race, but we're slowly getting the shop where we can start actually getting some work out here. Get my power hooked up, and that's going to be a big step. So again, maybe next time we'll have that. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later.